What's going on, guys? So, I was looking at the top decks, which I'm gonna put a link here. I went to the website, I googled top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they gave me the top decks on a website called Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks, which I just repeated myself 5 times, but you know, whatever. So anyways, on the website shows the top 10 or so decks, I think it was the top 10, and how much each deck costs approximately. Of course, it's not card for card, but approximately how much each deck costs to make and play. So they're roundabout. Sometimes they might be a little less or more, but it's an average. So, for the top 3 decks, I wrote it down. It's an average of about $600. 650, sometimes a little bit less, 550, but I averaged out to $600 for like the top 3 major expensive decks in the meta. They're not necessarily the best ones, but well, the first deck definitely was like 600 or so bucks. I'll post the link to that website down below. I mean, you can just Google it and you'll be able to find it, but whatever, I'll post it in the link too. So basically, the idea of this video is, people always used to ask me, David, why don't you play meta? Why don't you want to beat other people and stop playing these cheap-ass decks that can't win worth shit? Well, my answer to that is, I have a lot of hobbies. I've mentioned this in a video before. I'm into all sorts of different things. Do I always go after them as, you know, pursue them? No. But I would like to, but you know, there's that thing called money that always comes into effect. So, when I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's something that I do like to play, I'm not going to spend top dollar because there's other hobbies that I'd also like to spend money on. So, when I was thinking of this, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a comparison of other things you can buy with these top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That people are always bitching at. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go over some things you can buy with a budget of about $600 that you can get, pretty much. And also, I'm just going to clarify, these are more things that I would like, because I mean, I'm not going to just Google random shit, but pretty much, these are things that normal people can afford with $600, or would get if they had similar interest as I do. And this is not all of them, it's just something I did quickly that I'm like, oh, $600, what could I get for $600? So yeah, let's get on with it. So right off the bat, I already have an Xbox One, and I want a PS4 because there's some games that are PS4 exclusive. Also, I kind of want a PS3 so I could play all the Killzone 2 and Killzone 3. Well, I played Killzone 2 and then I sold a PS3 years ago, but whatever, I'd like to have Killzone 2 and Killzone 3. Hopefully, maybe they'll make a remake for them for PS4 one day. Probably not. But I would like a PS4. PS4 with some video games, you can get $600 right off the bat. So right there, $600 budget for your deck, you could get a PS4 and a bunch of games. Okay, say if you're not into video games. Alright, this is one that's always gotten me. I've seen Yu-Gi-Tubers with way more subscribers than me have a way more shittier camera than me, and they're like, well, you know, budgets only allow for certain things. Okay. And Yu-Gi-Tubing, I can't speak for everybody, you don't make that much money. At least, I definitely do not. I don't make anything. I do this purely as a hobby. Can't tell you the exact amounts that you do make, but I don't make anything what probably some people think. I mean, I don't make anything. But anyways, there are some that maybe not make tons of money, but they make some. And they also have a little bit of sponsors, but they're still using a camera that looks like it was from 2005 with the freaking little mini cassette tapes. Not mini cassette, but mini DV, yeah, I think they're DV tapes, yeah. And I'm just like baffled because I try to put high quality audio and video in my videos, and yet these people have tons of subscribers. And this isn't a jelly thing, I'm just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen some of them play highly, you know, expensive decks or have multiple expensive decks. So right here, just to clarify, there's gonna be a video. You could get a Lumix G7 mirrorless camera that shoots in 4K or 1080p at 28 megabytes or megabits per second, which if you don't know, that is really high quality 1080p. That's what my camera shoots at, so I'm not going to get a new camera. And 4K is pretty pointless on YouTube, I personally think. But right there, you can get it for $600. It's actually less than $600. So there's no excuse. And you can actually even get a nicer camera. I mean, not a camera that's just as nice and shoots just as good video for less. It's just that this one, I'm just saying, for $600 you could get this. In fact, actually for a memory card, you could get as much as the whole deck with sleeves and everything to go, and maybe a mat. So, right there, for any YouTubers you're watching, if you're out of a camera, but yet you're still playing meta, maybe sell on your meta decks before it gets hit and you lose all your money, and maybe get a nicer camera. I don't know, that's just me throwing balls out there. You can get one for $400. That was just an example of top tier. But, anyways, this isn't me giving a tech lesson, even though if you ever want a tech lesson, ask me, because I'm like, technology and video editing and photo editing, it's kind of my bag, even though some people want people to tell my thumbnails, because I'm lazy with my thumbnails. But anyways, let's get on with it. Now going back on with the gear, the camera thing, for any people who would like to start out in YouTubing but they're still doing expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards, well, right here you get a $250 or $260 camera and like a $300-something laptop, still under the $600 deck limit, and yes, the camera and the laptop aren't the most amazing things, but the camera will do, and the computer will do, and you can start YouTubing right there. You're not going to be the best of the best, but for starting out, there you go. So if you're still wanting to ever think about YouTubing, there you go. All you need is a computer and a camera, and you just talk to it and stuff. And $600 budget for your Yu-Gi-Oh deck can pay for that. You know what I mean? Now this one's a very simple one. You could at least get 3 decent budget decks. And see, some people like playing multiple things, which I'm one of those people. So while this isn't necessarily an item that people would I would associate with $600, but you get 3 like $200 decks that are still pretty good and still have fun, and you can still probably do pretty good. Actually, some of the decks on the top 10 decks list was like $230 or $300, or you get 2 $300 decks right there. That's even better and still meta. You know what I mean? Like, why spend $600 for one meta deck when sometimes even a $300 deck can beat it and you can still compete in a meta? Like, I'm saying, like, it's still a competable deck. Like, you definitely could go far with it. So there you go. You could buy multiple lower meta decks. There you go. Fucking still going on with. You could build your own computer like I did for $600. I would still say $650, but yeah, it's not gonna be amazing. But for $600, one, you could build a laptop that's way faster than any fucking laptop you're gonna get. And yeah, and if you don't know how to build a laptop, Google it. Or at least go get a new computer or something. I don't know. This is, once again, these are things that I like. I like technology, so fuck it. You get okay, $600, you get a drying machine. You moving out, you need a drying machine? $600. Drying machine. People don't call them drying machines. They call them dryers. I'm gonna just throw one up there that I don't even do anymore, but I would like to. It's just, I got out of it and a lot of my friends got out of it. Is going back to skateboarding. Look, you get a quarter pipe. Quarter pipe for $4.99. How could you not want to do that? I know not many YouTubers are skateboarders, but you could. You could go do it. You could fucking go skateboard. $4.99, you get a quarter pipe to practice on, and then another $50 to get a decent rail to practice on. There, done. There's a hobby for you. Minus the skateboard and shit. And going to a Hygiene video that DeSilent Sigma, or I think he changed his YouTube name now, that he did a while back, is Hygiene in Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, you get a whole 3-pack of body wash for $15. You multiply that by like another like shit ton, so you could get like $500 worth of body wash. You're set for body wash for like years and years and years. So there you go. If you got a dirty problem and you're dirty, get some body wash, because other people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Hate sitting next to people that smell like shit. Just wanting to say. So guys, that's all I have. Tell me what you would buy with $600 Yu-Gi-Oh! Budget if you weren't going to buy a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And yes, I know not everybody plays a $600 deck. It was just the top tier. I'm aware of these things. And if you were offended by this Yu-Gi-Oh! Smell video, well, I'm sorry. Anybody who's ever been to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament ever, or even in a nerdy building, there are some people that don't know hygiene. So, sorry if I offended it. Sorry. Fucking not really. Peace out. Yo.